Hello, and welcome to my couch. So, I have opinions and predictions on season 4 of Love is Blind. Season 4 takes place in Seattle, Washington, and each season they pick a different location in the US for it to take place in, or at least for the contestants to be from, so that their relationship has a slightly better chance of surviving, given that location shouldn't be an issue. Now, I say shouldn't because someone from this season, Kwame, who is engaged to Chelsea, he's from Portland, Oregon, which is a hop, skip, and a jump away from Seattle in terms of being in the US. And he's having some issues with making the sacrifice, the compromise to move to Seattle to be with his fiancée, Chelsea. My guy, you signed up for a dating to marriage television show that takes place in Seattle, Washington. If you weren't willing to move to Seattle already, you should not have done that. That is a little bit shady in my opinion. So yeah. And now where I am caught up with the season, spoilers ahead for those of you who are not caught up, so far we have seen the beginning of one of the weddings, of course, between Chelsea and Kwame, and we only know the answer, I do or I don't, of one of the people. All of the rest, we don't know. I mean, except for Marshall and Jacquelina. But, we'll get to them. So, because we know what Chelsea's answer is, let's start with Chelsea and Kwame. And from this point forward, there are spoilers if you're not caught up with season 4 of Love is Blind. So Chelsea has said, I do, to Kwame. And so here's where my predictions come in. I think that Kwame is going to say, I do not. And I think that because before their wedding, Chelsea was talking to the camera in the confessional style, whatever you want to call that, about how excited she is for Kwame to be her husband, how much she's looking forward to marriage with him, and all that jazz. Whereas Kwame, he talks about how much he loves Chelsea and how much he has to sacrifice being with her, but he doesn't really talk about their future as a married couple, not to the camera in his heart-to-heart confessional. And if he has, I've either missed it or I felt that it wasn't genuine, so I just forgot about it. And that's the issue. And now, I don't know if he is being intentionally disingenuous or if he is lying to himself. And these are all my opinions, but I feel like he is either lying to himself or being disingenuous in his feelings for Chelsea. Now, he may love her and he may want to be with her, at least for the foreseeable future, but I do not think he wants to marry her. At least I don't think he is ready to marry her or anybody at this point. He is, 26 years old? I don't have the ages written down for any of them. I know that Chelsea is 31. Actually, I'm not even going to say that. I'm not for sure on that. I'm pretty sure Chelsea's 31 and Kwame is 26. So there's not much of an age gap, but there can be a life experience gap. And historically, the reason that, at least in America, and I'm only speaking as an American, if there tends to be one person in a heteronormative relationship who is older than the other, it tends to be the guy. And that is usually because typically men mature slower than women do. I can't believe I just said mature. Mature slower than women do. Now, speaking for myself, my husband is the same age as me. I think we both kind of matured a little bit slower because we were very, very sheltered growing up. If you can hear noise, I'm very sorry about that. That's my cat's litter box. It's an automatic litter box cleaner. I highly recommend. But anyway, getting back to the show, I do think that Kwame is going to say I do not, because I don't think that he is ready to be married. And another thing is his mom is not at the wedding. She did not give her blessing. She does not approve of Kwame marrying Chelsea. And Kwame cares so much about his mom's opinion, and he values it. So I think that's just another reason that he's going to say no. And from past seasons, I want to say all 3 of the first seasons, there have been 6 couples, and 2 of them have wound up both saying yes to each other. We only had 5 couples with this season, and now we have 4, maybe 4.5. I'll get more into that later. But I do still think that there's going to be 2 yes couples. I am on the fence with one of my yeses, but I think following the past formula, I'm just going to go with that for my final answer. So that is what I feel about Chelsea and Kwame. Moving on to Zach and Bliss. Zach and Bliss, I adore. They are my second favorite couple of the season. I love, love, love Bliss. Zach, he had to grow on me because at first he picked Irina. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. Therefore, I have nothing to say about Irina. Absolutely nothing. Moving on. I think that Zach is going to say yes. I do. At the altar. I think he is absolutely infatuated with Bliss. He knows he made the wrong decision with Irina, and for him, I believe that he is sure about her. Bliss, on the other hand, I think she's going to say no. And I think this because Zach had proposed to Irina first. He had made that commitment to her first. And then he realized he made a mistake very quickly after meeting her in person and proposed to Bliss instead. She said yes. Their first kiss together, if it was their first kiss, it was very awkward. I feel like she kept kind of talking while he was trying to kiss her. I think that she does really like him. And I think that if she had been picked first instead of Irina by Zach, I think she may have said yes. But she's not over him proposing to another woman yet. It's too soon. So I think she's going to say no, but I think she's going to want to continue the relationship and do it at their own pace, not Netflix's pace. And I wish them all the best. And I hope that if one of them do say no, that is what happens, because I really like them together. Zach is much more likable when he is with Bliss. All right, Paul and Micah. Micah was another person like Irina who I originally had nothing nice to say about. Now that has firmly moved to her friend. I can't remember what her friend's name is. Not Irina, but her friend in real life. I don't like her personally, so I'm not going to say anything more about that. But Micah, she has really grown on me. I think she is a product of her environment, and I think she tends to mold her personality to the people that she is around. She may be a people pleaser in that aspect. These are all my opinions. That's just kind of how I see her. I can kind of be the same way, so I feel like we're kind of 2 birds of a feather in that regard. I do really like Micah with Paul. I do not like the people that she tends to make friends with. I think she is a good contender for therapy. I think all of these people are good contenders for therapy. I myself am in therapy. I highly recommend it. It's amazing. Paul and Micah, they are my first yes couple. I believe that they are both going to say I do at the altar. My maybe that I had mentioned earlier that I'm kind of waffling on is Micah. I'm not positive on if she's going to say yes or no, but because I feel like there are going to be 2 couples that say yes to each other, I'm choosing Paul and Micah to be one of those 2 couples. I don't really have much to say about them. I wish them all the best. I wish them nothing but happiness, whether that be with each other or without. Next up, my favorite couple, I think, of any couple except for Lauren and Cameron of season 2. Actually, they may be my favorite couple now, is Tiffany and Brett. Is anybody surprised I said those 2 names? Probably not. Unless you have no idea what I'm talking about, in which case, why are you watching this video? I'm glad you're here, but why? So anyway, Tiffany and Brett, it comes of no surprise. I think they are both going to say yes to each other. This show was first created for Lauren and Cameron, but now it's also been created for Tiffany and Brett to meet each other and to fall in love, to get married, and to have whatever kind of family together that they wish to have. I love them both. I adore them both. I have not a bad word to say about either of them. Tiffany actually reminds me a lot of a woman I know in real life who I absolutely adore. So, yeah, They're my favorites. I love them. I think they're both going to say yes. I think they're both going to have a perfect, magical, wonderful future together. It's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows, of course, but I think it's going to be pretty close. And now, Jacquelina. I think if I had to dig down, I could say nice things about Irina. Notice I said Irina. I don't think I could do that about Jacquelina. Well, okay, you know what? I am being really unfair. I believe that Jacquelina needs help, professional help. She even said it herself, that she needs to seek self-help and should see a therapist, which I don't think classes as self-help, which I just said, but I do think she needs to talk to a professional, mental health professional. She broke Marshall's heart. She was deciding in the pods between Josh and Marshall, ultimately picked Marshall. However, that was the wrong choice for her because her personality matches up much better with Josh, who I also have no nice words to say about. I think that Josh and Jacquelina are good for each other. Maybe. Actually, they may end up tearing each other apart if they give it a go. Marshall deserves better. This is a Marshall deserves better page. Obviously, Marshall and Jacquelina are no longer a thing. Jacquelina decided that she's going to keep the ring even though Josh asked for it back. In my opinion, if the person who proposes to you gives you a ring in that proposal, that is on the condition that you get married, that you get to keep that ring. Therefore, if you're calling off the engagement, you should give the ring back. And if I were Marshall, I would have ripped it off her finger. But he is too nice. I am not. I am not a too nice person. Absolutely not. I've been stepped on, walked all over way too many times in my life for me to be like that anymore. I don't start confrontations, but I will participate in them if they're brought to me. I'm getting totally off track. I'm so sorry. The point is, Marshall deserves better. Jacquelina probably does deserve Josh. I don't know if they will work out. I doubt. They're not going to, like, get engaged and do this whole wedding thing. Like, the weddings are happening now. But maybe they'll start dating. I don't know. Honestly, I don't really care. And that's that. And by that's that, I mean that's the video. We went through the couples. Yeah. I do think, in hindsight, Paul choosing Micah instead of Amber, was that her name? I'm so sorry. Instead of Amber was the right choice for him. I do think Zach should have chosen Bliss from the beginning. And those are my opinions. Please leave yours in the comments. Please be respectful. We can have our opinions without fighting. And please subscribe if you would like to hear more from me. I tend to do makeup content and my commentary on whatever happens to pop in my head. So, hope to see more of you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and have a fantabulous rest of your day. Mwah.